Brandon Nimmo should not lead off in 2024, and I'm going to tell you why. Definitely, Brandon Nimmo is a really good player for the Mets. He's gotten way better offensively and defensively. This is All Things Mets, where you get your latest Mets media, everything you know about the Mets on this channel. Definitely do me a favor, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into today's video, and that is going to be about Brandon Nimmo and him not leading off in 2024. You know, we obviously saw 2023 Brandon Nimmo have a really good season. You know, he had a really good average. He hit over 20-something home runs. This guy, Brandon Nimmo, showed something in 2023 that we haven't seen in some time. You know, Brandon Nimmo showed power. You know, he wasn't a guy that was trying to walk every single time. He wasn't a guy that was just trying to be, you know, on base every single time and give up his power. And he was being very aggressive, you know, going after pitches, hitting for power, and, you know, definitely hitting home runs. So when it comes to the Mets, you know, the lack of power that they have, you know, they didn't make any really big, you know, additions like a JD Martinez, like a Jorge Soler. So when it comes to Pete Alonso and somebody to protect him in the lineup, you know, Brandon Nimmo, this guy is a guy I think who really can hit you 30 home runs, a guy who can hit you 27 home runs around there, you know, a guy that can hit for a good average. Because what's good about Brandon Nimmo is he can hit for power. He can definitely pull the ball, but he can hit also opposite field. You know, he could drive the ball opposite field. And that's what I really like about Brandon Nimmo. And he's just gotten way better offensively and defensively. But definitely the power is something, you know, to take notice, because when it comes to the Mets, they don't have a lot of power. So who are you going to put, you know, behind Alonso? Are you going to put a Francisco Alvarez? Is he ready for that spot? Or maybe you put Brandon Nimmo behind Alonso, and now he can be, you know, the guy behind Alonso. I personally don't know if that's the right fit, but I definitely think Brandon Nimmo is a guy who has power, you know, definitely can drive in runs. And that's what I want to see him more. I want to see him more in 2024 as a guy that drives in runs, not a guy that gets on base, takes a walk every single time when he's leading off. That's what I want to see. I think drastically it will help the Mets, you know, with their lineup, help the Mets drive in runs. And I like it. I really like Brandon Nimmo in a different spot than the leadoff spot, because when you're in the leadoff spot, your job is to get on base. Your job is to, you know, be on base, get on base. That's the job. That's the main job, you know, get a leadoff hit for the guys, you know, that are coming up. But if Brandon Nimmo was in a different spot than the leadoff, he would definitely be in a position to drive in more runs, because we saw last year, 2023, Brandon Nimmo hit a lot of leadoff home runs. Brandon Nimmo, you know, definitely was hitting for more power. Now imagine what he would have done if there was guys on base, you know. So that's what I want to see from Brandon Nimmo in 2024. I need him. I would like him, you know, honestly, to drive in runs, to be a guy to drive in runs. So when it comes to the Mets lineup, who is going to lead off, right? Who's going to lead off? You have an option, you know, like a Starling Marte. You have an option like a Bader. You have an option like a McNeil. And I know a lot of people say Jeff McNeil is probably not the best leadoff option because he goes after first pitches, you know, right away. And, you know, he's very aggressive, you know. So do you put a Bader in that spot? I really don't know exactly where the perfect like where to put those guys, you know, in that lineup when it comes to the leadoff spot. But I know this, Brandon Nimmo, I think, would definitely benefit from being in a different spot than that leadoff spot. And I really want to see him have a, you know, a power year. You know, he doesn't need to hit 35 home runs, 36 home runs. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying he can drive in more runs and help the team win. And when it comes to the Mets, they don't have a lot of offense, okay? They don't have a lot of guys that can drive in runs, you know, so they didn't really make any big-time additions. That's the thing. Yes, they do have Francisco Alvarez, and I love Francisco Alvarez. Francisco Alvarez is going to be a star. You know, I hope he gets better offensively, you know, more consistently. But just in general, I like what Brandon Nimmo brings. You know, he's a lefty. He's a guy that can hit you a home run. He's a guy that I think can protect Alonso. I really think if you put him in that different spot, maybe it'll work out. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't work out. If it doesn't work out, then you experimented and you put him back in the leadoff spot. But I like this guy in that spot. Why wouldn't you experiment with this lineup? Because now is the time with all these injuries, all this type of things, that stuff. What's going on with the Mets in 2024? This is what I want to see from the Mets in 2024. Put Brandon Nimmo in a different spot, not in that leadoff spot, and he can have a different mindset. He already has the mindset. So if you put him in that different spot, I think he can improve, and I think he can help the team win. And that's the thing about the Mets in 2024. They need to win games, whether it is by 1 run, whether it is by 3 runs, 4 runs. They need to win games because they don't have the best pitchers. They're already down one of their pitchers in Senga, so they need guys to be consistent offensively. And I think Brandon Nimmo showed in 2023 he can be consistent. He can hit home runs and still that won't kill his average. So I want to see, Brandon Nimmo in that spot behind Alonso. I really think this guy would benefit from being in that spot. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Brandon Nimmo would be the best option for the 5th spot? Maybe behind Alonso. What do you guys think? Because I think this guy, if you put him in a position to drive in runs, I think he's going to drive in runs. I like Brandon Nimmo. I like what he brings to the table. And this guy is just getting better every single year. And I think 2024 is going to be even better for Brandon Nimmo. So we'll see what happens with Brandon Nimmo. But I definitely think this guy, Brandon Nimmo, should not lead off in 2024. Put him in a different spot. Experiment. If it doesn't work out, then put him back in the leadoff spot. But if it does, then amazing. That's what you want. When you have those pieces like an Alonso, like a Nimmo, like a Lindor, maybe Lindor could lead off. Maybe Bader could lead off. Maybe Marte could lead off, But I think definitely when it comes to the Mets, they need to do something drastically with this lineup. They need to, fix this lineup some way, make it look different, because I don't want to see the same lineup that we had in 2023. I don't want to see Brandon Nimmo lead off. I don't want to see Starlin Marte as the 2-hitter. I don't want to see Jeff McNeil as the 3-hitter and then Alonso as the 4. I want different changes. So when it comes to the lineup, I hope that they can make this work. And yeah, at the end of the day, that is my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. Stay blessed. And I love GM. I'm out of here.